It's no secret that when most consumers need a lawyer, they turn to Google. The reason for that is we consumers do not hire a lawyer typically more than 3 times in our lifetime, and it's just too easy to find a good lawyer using Google. So for you to get more cases, to make more money, you have to rank up top in Google. How do you do that? To a large degree, the largest degree, it depends on quantity and quality of your content. So having the right content in place, more and more relevant content than your competitors' websites have, is of paramount importance to your business and personal finance. But how do you do that? We've seen so many websites that had plenty of content, but they didn't rank up top in Google. Why is that? Because today, to execute properly on content, you have to have a scientific method. This is definitely not a do-it-yourself project, so I'm sharing this information with you because I want you to know this must-know information, so then when you do hire a high-performance marketing company, you should be hiring a high-performance marketing company, not just any, definitely not a cheap marketing company, because they will fail to deliver results, and it's not even about the money that you would waste with them. It's about the lack of results that you would get. So think about it this way, right? Let's say that you spend $30,000 on marketing, sizable amount, but not millions, right? But they do not deliver the results that another company, a high-performance company, could have delivered. That opportunity cost, the delta between these two companies could have been one company delivers $100,000 worth of business, another one delivers $800,000 worth of business. That's why you always have to hire the best marketing resources your money can buy. But when you hire them, you still need to make sure that you know what it is that they're doing so you can check up on them. So in this video, I am sharing with you what goes into proper content planning and content strategy so that you know this and can actually check up on them. So this is good knowledge to have. A good content marketing starts with a strong content plan. A strong content plan is focused on your goals and the delta between where you want to be, your goals, and where you are today, a point A. So think about it as point A and point B. It should focus on how you, or your marketing company rather, is going to beat your direct competitors online, meaning you want to rank in the top 5 results for a lot of relevant keywords. Those keywords that people use when they are looking for a law firm or a lawyer. You want to make sure that the plan incorporates how they're going to beat those current companies that are ranking up top there. You want that part of the plan to have actual content plan. Here are all the topics we're going to write about in the term of a quarter, 2 quarters, probably a year. You want to make sure that they understand that those topics are the ones that people actually search for. You do not want to write about things that people are not looking for. So content plan should be focused on high priorities. And high priorities are those pieces of content, those topics that people actually care about. Next, that content plan should be broken down by pillar cluster networks. What are pillar cluster networks? Well, think about it this way. You want to dominate search space, Google, for certain topics in your local market, because all law firms are what's considered to be local service providers in the Google's eyes. You're only going to dominate for those topics locally in search. So when you think about that pillar cluster structure, here's how it breaks down. A pillar is a large piece of content. This is where you answer a general question, where you can have a comprehensive answer. Like a client asks you about something, and the answer you will provide them is going to be 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long, 45 minutes long, maybe an hour long, because there are so many things to cover, so many subtopics to cover. So this one thing becomes the pillar topic, and then around it you build little clusters. So imagine that the pillar content can be 5,000 words long. It's a long form content. And clusters are just shorter topics. They are, imagine bullet points within your pillar content, and then for every bullet point you have a cluster piece of content that's connected to the pillar, and then you interconnect all of them. This is how proper content plan should look like. Topics that are in demand, people are searching for them, and then pillar cluster format. Pillar, big subject, clusters, little subjects that connect to the pillar topics. Next, all of this would be useless if the marketing company did not do proper keyword research. Keyword research entails the following, or the outcome of keyword research. It's a list of keywords that most reasonable people would use to look for a law firm that offers services like the ones that you do, and separately, look for information that's related to their legal challenges and or services that you provide. Got to make sure that you have that keyword research done there as well. Next, this is all part of the SEO, part of the content strategy. You got to make sure that for every piece of content that they're going to write or you're going to write, they're going to prepare SEO specifications. Specifications for every piece of content ensure that the content that will be written will be optimized out of the gate, meaning it has a chance to rank well in search. Make sure that it's there. Now, the writers that are going to write that content should be using those SEO specifications as the guidelines for their writing and make sure that the content that they write is written both for users and for the search engines. It is a very specialized skills that should not be undertaken just by anyone. You gotta know what you're doing. Next, within that content, you need to make sure that you have crosslinks. All part of content marketing. What are crosslinks? Remember how I talked about pillar content and clusters around it? Everything must be interconnected. Why? Because Google really cares about behavioral factors, or known as engagement. How does Google measure engagement? Google really cares about user experience and whether you have more and more relevant content than your competitors do. In fact, this is the primary way that they determine where your website should be ranking, above your competitors or below. How do they decide whether you should rank above or below your competitors? Well, they look at how much time a typical user would spend on your website and how many pages they would visit. So imagine this. Your website on average gets about 2 minutes and 14 seconds per visit, and a typical visitor would visit 4 pages. If for the same search term, your competitor's website gets 3 minutes and 5 seconds and they visit 6 pages, Google will determine that their website has more and more relevant information. Now, when you insert crosslinks in your content, you shouldn't do this yourself. This is for a professional, high-performance marketing company to do. They should build in crosslinks, meaning one piece of content interconnected to other pieces of content contextually, so it actually makes sense. So as a consumer is reading something, a service page or a blog post, they see links to other valuable to them content, they click on those links, and they end up to going to other pages and spend more time on your website. That's why crosslinks are so incredibly important. Next, this is part of content strategy. Backlinks. Backlinks are hyperlinks that are pointing back to your website, various pages, from other websites, third-party websites. All of your content pages should be backed up by backlinks. Why is that important? Because backlinks lend their authority, lend their credibility to your website. Google sees it as a very important ranking factor. If all other factors held constant and your website has quite a bit more backlinks than your competitors' websites do, you're going to rank higher and thus get more traffic and thus get more clients. Super important to have those backlinks there. Last couple of things. You got to make sure that some of your content, not all of it, has conversion points in it. What are conversion points? Also known as lead magnets. Those are things that you can offer to the people who are consuming content on your website as downloadables. Things where they're reading a, blog post or service page, and they see there's a checklist or additional white paper that help them learn and better understand the legal issue that they're facing. They could download that piece of content in exchange for their name and email address. That's a lead magnet or a conversion tool. Super important because once again, it leads to more time spent there, and also it gives you more credibility because once they consume that content, they build a bigger, more important affinity with your brand than they do with your competitors. Lastly, part of your content strategy should be promotion of that content. Meaning, when you think about the way law firms spend money on advertising, they only advertise most of the time service pages, but people look for services and also people look for information. You should be allocating some of your budget to promoting content that's informational. Make sure that you promote it so people do not just go to the homepage or service pages, but also go to other pages. Super important as part of your content strategy. When you listen to all of this, and I've been talking for a good 10 minutes about this now, I hope you realize that none of this is a do-it-yourself project. You gotta make sure that you hire the right marketing team to help you execute on this correctly. See a link, cross-link, down below to an article where I talk about how to get the best marketing team your money can afford. Make sure that you spend another 10-15 minutes studying that, because choosing the right marketing team is a mission-critical task. Should you choose a wrong one, they're not going to deliver great results to you. You get the right team, they're going to help your law firm grow bigger, faster, more profitably, and you're going to have more fun doing that. Versus a mediocre or less than mediocre company that's not going to deliver the results. And it's going to be a struggle, and you're going to be frustrated, and you're not going to love the experience. Do the right thing. Learn how to hire the best marketing company and get them to do the right thing for you, which is have the right content plan in place and execute on it properly.